It is currently June 4th, which means tomorrow is the Nintendo Switch 2 release. And I want to try my luck in finding one on release day. When the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced, I was one of the people that was very excited about getting it because I only have one Switch and it is the very first generation. So I've had that guy for almost 10 years. I have never gotten myself an OLED or a Switch Lite because I always thought, you know, I have my Switch, I don't really need anything else. Even though I was tempted by the Echoes of Wisdom one because, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Maybe one day. When the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced, I wanted to wait for how much it was gonna cost. I'm not the kind of person who's in the position to just spend that kind of money, so I didn't pre-order it. And of course, there was a lot of talking about the tariffs and whether or not the price was gonna go up and all of these things. So I decided to just kind of wait it out and see if it was gonna change and what was really gonna happen, and also save up a little bit of money so that I could actually purchase the console. I ran a little poll on my Instagram and I found that most people are just waiting for reviews to see if it's something worth spending their money into. Wherever you stand on that line, I think it's completely valid. It is currently 4:40 p.m. on a Wednesday. Today, they actually announced that there would be a midnight release at Best Buy. I decided I'm gonna go ahead and try my luck and see if I can get it tonight. I don't know if this is considered like a suburb or something, kind of like just the outside of the city a little bit, so I don't really know what to expect when it comes to crowds and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to get there early just in case, you know. I've also never ever been to a midnight release of any kind of technology, so I just don't know what to expect in general. I am going by myself. Well, I guess not alone. You guys are coming with me. This might end up just being a 5-minute video where I just tell you I have not been able to get it. If I'm not able to get my hands on it tonight, I do have the plan on going to a couple places tomorrow, so I don't know. We'll see. Next time you see me, it'll be a few hours later. I'm gonna be real sleepy. Let's go on this adventure together. Okay, it's about that time. I had a matcha and I've been watching Drag Race to keep me awake. Let's go try our luck at Best Buy. Let's go. We're here and there's a lot of people, so let's see. So I got there about 30 minutes early and I was surprised to find that the line already went around the building. Considering there were two different lines, one for pre-orders and one for people who were just there for the release, I didn't know if I was gonna actually be able to get my hands on a Nintendo Switch at this point. Did get to see a couple celebrities, which was really cool, and at some point I got handed this ticket number. Didn't realize at this point that this meant that I was secured a Nintendo Switch 2. At 12, the store opened and the line started moving very slowly. I did end up striking up conversations with some people that were around me, so that kind of made the time go by a little bit quicker, though I will say my back was killing me from standing for so long. But finally, at around 2:15 in the morning, we made it inside the store. Yes, I was in line for 3 hours. It was really exciting to go inside the store, not only because it was really hot outside and the AC was a welcomed relief, but because they had it all decked up with Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. They were also playing Mario music at the shop. And then I finally made it to the checkout. They already had my order ready, so I just had to pay. It was actually quite embarrassing because since it was almost 3 in the morning, my bank got mad at me, so I had to be like, wait, hold on, let me contact my bank. It was a whole thing, but against all odds, I got my hands on a Nintendo Switch 2. We did it, boys. Yeah! Oh my my god, I'm so excited. I don't know why I thought it would be kind of empty, and from what I could hear from the people in line, it was emptier than other sites around the city, so I'm glad that I went to that one. I got there 30 minutes early and there were already people lining up outside. Some people have been there from like 3 p.m. or something. It was wild. I also got the bundle version with the new Mario Kart, so we're gonna be trying that today. I haven't opened it because I got home at 3 a.m. last night and I really wanted to open it together, so let's do that. Here we go. Where's my tiny scissors? Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh my god, the screen is huge. Wow, I love how big and round it is. The Joy-Cons also feel considerably bigger. I love the matte effect of it. And the colors, for some reason, feel a little bit more pastel almost. You see what I mean? Got my Mario Kart, regular, HDMI wire. Oh, these are so cute! You snap them on, I'm excited to try that. Okay. Whoa, the charger block is huge. The adjuster, oh, this is beautiful. You can see the colors on the sides, and you can see it's shiny in here and then matte on the back. That's very sleek. The dock, oh my god, this dock is already 1,000,000,000% more aesthetically pleasing than the other one. All of the things. Oof. There is nothing like a brand new screen like this. It's so pristine and beautiful. Oh my gosh. Love the rounded edges. Excited to try this out. Interesting. Gives you a lot more freedom as to what height you can put it in. Headphones, plenty of speakers, volume, power, your regular stuff. Wow. This is huge. I really am enjoying the subtlety of the color on the sides. Like from the front you can really see it, but if you look to the sides, you can see the color. Very nice touch. Nothing really crazy about this HDMI. It does have the little Nintendo logo on there, which is always a nice little touch. And that way you don't confuse it with other HDMIs, which might be helpful specifically with the Switch. Charger. Also has the Nintendo logo on there. This guy's heavy. Jeez. Oh, they're so beautiful. They feel really nice in the hands too. Definitely bigger buttons. Also, we have the bigger buttons in the inside, which is honestly a wonderful improvement. And then we have these boys. These look beautiful. They're sturdy too. I thought they'd be soft. Nice. Oh, they slap on beautifully. A lot more comfortable than the Nintendo Switch ones, just in the size of it, the size of the buttons on the top. Definitely feels more comfortable. Perfect for Mario Kart. Here. Oh, it snaps so nicely, look. Oh, that's nice. That's very pleasing to me. How do I take them off? Oh, there's this nice little button here. You press this button here and then it comes out. Nice. This button is also a lot more comfortable than the Nintendo Switch ones. I feel like those were kind of hard to get. They were so tiny, and I get what they made them that way, but this is a lot better. I love it. Okay, see, you take it out of the box for a second, it's already not pristine. Moment of truth. That snap. Whoa. I'm a little bit worried about it being uncomfortable to hold for a long time. I have issues with my arms falling asleep when I'm holding my Switch for a long time, but it does feel thinner, but definitely bigger, a lot bigger. I like that you can't really see a lot of the blue or the red, except for like these parts here. Really, really nice. Okay. Moment of truth, let's go. Why am I emotional? This is so silly. Okay, I'm transferring the data. You have to put them side by side and you can see the difference in size already. all my boys. I wonder if it transferred all of my Animal Crossing Island progress, or if I should start from zero. I have questions. Now, while all my games are downloading, I do unfortunately have to go to work, but after that, we're gonna game together. I'm gonna check my games, and I'm also going to try the new Mario Kart World. For you is gonna be a second, for me it's gonna be a few hours. I'll see you in a little bit. Why, hello. It's a few hours later and I am so excited to try my Switch. I did check and my Animal Crossing save is on my Switch too now, which is very exciting. Next thing I want to do is try out the Mario Kart World game. I am not the best at Mario Kart, but I do really love it as a party game. Who knows? Maybe this one will change me. The tiny mic is out because I wanted to have a proper sit down with you and give you my first impressions and review of the Nintendo Switch 2 after having had it for a couple days now. The first thing that I noticed when I opened the box was the size and weight of the console. My first impression was that, whoa, this is a lot bigger than the first Nintendo Switch. So I was a little bit worried about how that would translate in the handheld gaming experience, because with the first generation Nintendo Switch, sometimes my hands will fall asleep or get tired from holding the console for a long gaming session. Yesterday, I actually had a pretty long gaming session in bed. I played the new Mario Kart World, which we will get into in a little bit, and I played some Animal Crossing, and I did not have any issues. You would think it's a lot heavier than the Nintendo Switch just because of the size, but they did a really good job in balancing that. I don't know how they did it. I even tried holding them side by side to kind of gauge the weight of the two, and I realized that they're about the same weight in my hand. So if that's something that you're maybe worried about, I personally didn't have any issues with that. The size and quality improvement of the screen is immediately noticeable. I'm not really into specs when it comes to screens, but even for me, it was impressive, especially after I was able to transfer the games that I was already playing on my Switch. It was kind of uncanny valley in a way, because it was like, okay, I'm playing the exact same thing I was playing before, but it looks so much better. I personally was quite pleased that even for me, it made a difference when I'm not even someone who really cares about that too much. And speaking of improvements that I didn't expect that I noticed immediately, the speakers on this console are insane. I was even messaging some of my friends who have some of the newer Nintendo Switches, like the OLEDs and the lights and all of that, because like I said at the beginning of the video, I've only ever experienced long periods of gaming with my first generation Nintendo Switch, which came out almost 10 years ago. I was like, well, maybe it's just because I have this really old console that the difference in sound feels so huge. A lot of people were telling me like, no, I don't really feel like there's a difference between the
first generation Nintendo Switch and the OLEDs or the lights. So I thought that was a really interesting thing that I noticed immediately. I don't even know how to explain this, but not only how loud you can get with the console, it also feels like it has this kind of sound round quality to it, which I really appreciated. It was really fun to be able to notice where the sounds were coming from. Truly was not expecting to even notice that kind of difference, but as someone who, again, wouldn't really point this out otherwise, I was quite impressed that I was even able to notice it. Which then also leads me to the transferring of the games from the old Nintendo to the Nintendo Switch 2. I was a little bit worried about that. I was not interested in purchasing a lot of games when I purchased the console. I am waiting more so for other games to come out, like Tales of the Shire, to play it in my Nintendo Switch 2. So I was like, am I just not going to be able to play any games? I feel like I was personally a little bit confused by the transfer part when they talked about it in the trailer. The transferring process was so easy. I just had to like log in to the new Nintendo Switch and basically just wait for everything to download. I was also worried that because I was downloading them in a different console that I would lose my saves, especially my Animal Crossing one. If you've seen a couple of my last videos, you would know that I have been completely obsessed with Animal Crossing again and decorating my island. So I was a little bit worried that I would lose that save. I did not, which I was really happy about. It was really nice for me to be able to immediately transfer the game and be able to experience exactly what I had been experiencing in my other console in the new console, because it made all of the changes even more apparent. Even though Animal Crossing New Horizons obviously came out around a time where the Nintendo Switch was pretty new, you would think that the console would be able to handle it really well, but I did notice after a few years had passed and the Animal Crossing software got updated, it was a little bit more laggy. Experiencing it in the Nintendo Switch 2, it is way faster, and I was like, that's cool. Definitely felt a lot smoother than before, and I was also able to notice the screen quality being a lot better. I also wanted to point out that the eShop is also faster in this console, which I know is something that a lot of people were complaining about. My experience with this Nintendo so far is that the eShop has been improved so much, so I just thought that was something fun to point out. Another part of the review is obviously the aesthetics of the console, what it looks like, what it feels like. Definitely improved the experience of holding the console itself. Obviously, I feel like that's a very personal thing, but in my opinion, I think it's very much more comfortable. In general, it just looks so beautiful and so sleek. I have my Nintendo Switch here, and I always thought like, oh my god, my Nintendo Switch is so cute, like I love it so much, but now that I have it next to this guy, it's like, throw it in the trash. Just kidding, I'm not gonna throw it in the trash. Which is something I've seen people do, like they're just like donating their Nintendo Switches now and just having Nintendo Switch 2, which I'm like, why are you doing that? I don't understand that. One thing that I am a little bit worried about with this design is the matte coating on the Switch. I feel like when you have electronics that you hold a lot that have a matte finish, because of the oils of your hand, it can kind of rub off and damage the matte finish. And since this is a handheld console, I don't know how it's gonna last in time. I would guess that Nintendo kind of thought about that before deciding on this design, but yeah, I guess we'll find out as we play it more. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that I did not get accessories for my Nintendo Switch 2, so I am not able to speak on those things. I think one of the bigger selling points of this console as well is the fact that you can connect to the camera and play online with friends, which is something that we've been waiting for a really long time with Nintendo consoles in general. I decided not to purchase any of those things yet, but I definitely will in the future and try them out, and will probably let you know what I think of those. Now let's talk about Mario Kart World. I'm not like a huge Mario Kart person, at least not a solo Mario Kart person. I feel like it's one of my favorite games to play in a group setting, but I don't really play that much by myself because of the value of the console with the game. I just decided to go for the bundle and get the one that came with the code. I had a really fun time playing Mario Kart World. I especially love the fact that you can play as the cow. That is definitely my absolute favorite character to play as now.
If you're a big fan of Mario Kart, I feel like you're really gonna enjoy it. I feel like it's everything you would expect from a Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart game. It has all of the fun stuff that we've already experienced and known and loved, but it is even better. I'm gonna have to play with people to see how that feels, but yeah. And now for the moment of truth. Do I think you should buy a Nintendo Switch 2? And honestly, I feel like there's no straight up answer to this, especially with the state of the world right now. I feel like this is a very touchy subject. This is obviously a luxury item. I would say wait and weigh your options, because even though this console definitely, I feel, delivers everything it promises, it is definitely an upgrade. My opinion is that if you have recently gotten a Switch Lite or a Switch OLED, you might not want to spend the money on another bigger console, especially at its price point. Wait for the reviews to come in and then think of maybe what makes sense to you. If you have one of the newer consoles, maybe you won't notice the big kind of jump from the first generation to this one. For me, it was like a big jump to go from the first one to this second one. So I don't know, something to consider. Definitely think about how important it is to you to have these new features, especially when it comes to like the specs of the console, but also considering the new things that you might not able to access. I honestly doubt that we're gonna get a discount on this console anytime soon, but I feel like if you wait a few months, you might be able to snag a second-hand console, which is definitely going to be more affordable and just better for the environment. That's something cool to think about and consider, especially if the price point of the console is something that is holding you back. I will also say that so far we have games that are backward compatible with the first Switch. As we kind of leave the first Nintendo Switch era in the past, I feel like it's something that's not gonna stay around forever. Knowing Nintendo, I know that at some point we're gonna start getting Nintendo Switch 2 games exclusive that are not backward compatible, so you might want to consider getting the console then. But I don't know when or if that's gonna start to happen. That's just kind of my theory. I just feel like it's something that Nintendo is kind of known to do, just kind of like, okay, we're done with that console now. So that is something that you might have to consider in the future, especially because we already have a lot of indie game companies that aren't releasing their games on the first Nintendo Switch because they can't translate the game onto this older console. So I feel like those games are only going to be available in the Nintendo Switch 2 at some point. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Making a big purchase like this, it's obviously very nuanced and depends on so many things. Even for me, even though I love the Nintendo Switch and obviously I work making content about cozy gaming and the Nintendo Switch is such a big part of that, I even consider like, do I really need this console? Like, is this something that I can afford, that it's important to me, that is actually going to make a big difference in my life? So I would truly encourage anybody to ask yourself those things before purchasing the console. This was such a fun video to film and so different for me. Let me know if you liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I will keep you updated on my thoughts on the console. The more I play with it, the more games come out of it, of course. How are you feeling about the Nintendo Switch 2? Did you get it? What are your thoughts on it? I'm so interested to know your thoughts. But as always, most importantly, remember to take care of yourself, have some rest, have some water, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Also, and I know that this is kind of hard, especially in the cozy gaming community, but don't let FOMO influence you into getting the Nintendo Switch 2. Just take your time. Okay. Mwah.